Greetings and welcome. This is session 1 of Seth Speaks, the magical approach. Assembly line time versus natural creative time. The rational mind versus the artistic mind. It was August 6, 1980, 8:48 p.m. on a Wednesday. Let's begin. Now, we will, as always, begin in our own way. In your latest series of inner workings, you and Rupert, with your dreams and so forth, with Rupert's notes and your own, were both heading in the proper direction, dealing with issues that are important personally and that also have a much broader impact. The natural person is indeed the magical person. And you have both, to some extent, had very recent examples of such activity. You were and are trying to teach yourself something. This is somewhat lengthy to unravel, but your behavior and experience, of course, is the result of your beliefs. Framework 2 has been rather fascinating, but mainly hypothetical framework in that neither of you have really been able to put it to any perceivable use in your terms. This is not to say it has not been operating. You have not had the kind of feedback, however, that you want. When you were both intensely involved in your projects, just finished, you let much of your inner experience slide, relatively speaking. The two of you operating together, however, then came up with an idea, an important one, that allows you to interpret the framework to material in your own ways. You had instant feedback. The interplay of a creative nature between the two of you involving your dreams and the camera and so forth. You were each struck by the magical ease with which you seemed certainly to perceive and act upon information. Information that you did not even realize you possessed. Some of Rupert's notes that you have not seen have further important insights as to such activity. The main point is indeed the importance of accepting a different kind of overall orientation. One that is indeed not any secondary adjunct, but a basic part of human nature. As your own and Rupert's notes state, Rupert's more clearly, this involves an entirely different relationship of the self you know with time. You can make your own connections here as per Rupert's camera experience and your own dreams of late. Important misunderstandings involving time have been, in a large measure, responsible for many of Rupert's difficulties, and also of your own, though they have been of a lesser nature. All of this involves relating to a reality in a more natural and therefore magical fashion. There's certainly a kind of natural physical time in your experience and in the experience of any creature. It involves the rhythm of the seasons, the days and nights and tides and so forth. In the light of that kind of physical time, which is involved within earthly biology, there is no basic cultural time. That is, to this natural rhythm, you have culturally added the idea of clocks, moments, and hours, and so forth, which you have transposed over nature's rhythms. Such a cultural time works well overall for the civilization that concentrates on partialities, bits and pieces, assembly lines, promptness of appointments, and so forth. It fits an industrialized society as you understand it. The time that any artistic creator is involved with follows Earth's own time, however. The creator's time rises out of the seasons and tides, even though in your society, you make a great effort to fit the creator's time into what I will call assembly line time. If you are a writer or an artist, then it seems that you must produce so many paintings or books or whatever as, say, an automobile worker must process so many pieces of the overall car chassis. Particularly, if you want to make a living at your art, You fall into the frame of mind in which you think that each minute is valuable. But what you mean is that each minute must be a minute of production. But each moment must be valuable in itself, whatever you do with it. Rubric culturally has felt, for many reasons that have been discussed, that each moment must be devoted to work. You have, to some extent, felt the same. I said that the artistic creator operates in the time of the seasons and so forth, in a kind of natural time. But that natural time is far different than you suppose, far richer, and it turns inward and outward and backward and forward upon itself. Being your own natural and magical self when you dream, you utilize information that is outside of the time context experienced by the so-called rational mind. The creative abilities operate in the same fashion, appearing within consecutive time, but with the main work done outside of it entirely. When you finished your project, you had several days of feeling miserable, but you caught yourself and turned yourself around beautifully, and you have every right to congratulate yourself in that regard. The same thing happened to Rupert, and to some extent, with some individual variations, the same causes were involved. When you were both working on those projects, your cultural time was taken up in a way you found acceptable. Creative time and cultural time, to some extent, merged, in that you could see daily immediate evidence of creativity's product coming out of the typewriter, say like any product off an assembly line. You were using time as your cultural training told you to. This marks the end of Seth Speaks, the magical approach. This is our part 1. Let's talk about it. So here, Seth emphasizes the importance of recognizing and integrating the natural aspects of the self. Both Seth and Rupert have been exploring significant personal and broader issues through dreams and notes, discovering the impact of beliefs on behavior and experience. They found a new way to interpret their experiences, realizing that natural rhythms and creativity operate outside the constraints of cultural time. Finally, Seth stresses the need to value each moment intrinsically and understand that true creativity aligns with nature's rhythms rather than industrial productivity. If you've enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with a friend, and please subscribe for more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any videos in this series or the next. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I am Tony Victory, a wolf uncaged. Thank you.